Medicine Clinic now to get your children's school physicals scheduled. We're accepting new patients of all ages. More info by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. This newscast is brought to you by Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. Over the last year, the DeWitt County Public Safety Committee has discussed ending the current intergovernmental agreements, or IGAs, with the county's municipalities to provide animal control services. At August's county board meeting, Public Safety Chair Megan Myers brought forward the motion to serve notice to the municipalities of the end of these IGAs. The county wants to renegotiate the current agreements and hopes that the local townships will be willing to do so as well.
We do have a motion to bring forward. That motion would be to give notice to, I'll make the motion to give notice to Clinton, Farmer City, and Piatt to discontinue the intergovernmental agreement for animal control services and offer to negotiate new intergovernmental agreements with municipalities.
Motion by Myers, is there a second? Second. Yeah, second, Mr. Carter.
The intergovernmental agreements were originally drafted in 2016, and they are eligible to be renewed or canceled every 3 years. We're currently at the 3-year anniversary point at the end of this year. With the climbing cost, and I believe I phrased this here this evening, I believe the current amount of animals, or percentage of animals we're dealing with the municipalities is about 70%. So 70% of the intakes and other events are from municipalities, and at this point in time, the costs are climbing to the extent that we really do need to have municipalities come to the table and help us figure out how best to handle that. The one that we have in agreement with Clinton right now does allow for a $100 fine to be written, and that is to help compensate. The issue we have with that is oftentimes animal control is called out, and there's no citation to be written, so they can't recover the cost of that call. Oftentimes they do write the citations, and not all of them are paid. So I really think it's in the county's best interest to be able to work with them and come to an agreement so that we can continue to provide services but cover our costs.
Board Chair Joe Whitty expressed his concerns about not having enough time to renegotiate with the municipalities before the current agreements are set to expire on December 1st.
So the one question I have on this is, I think the current agreement is set to renew, is it December 1st unless we were to send a notification?
December of 2000, and well, it'd be every 3 years would be this year.
Okay,
End
so
of this year, December of 2025.
I guess if we send a notice, they'll probably get it by September, the time that we have allotted, then between now and the renew, that there been sufficient time to negotiate, or do we have an opportunity to extend it for a period of time while we work through those negotiations?
And Mr. Markwell, can you comment? Can we offer to extend that?
State's Attorney Dan Markwell noted that all three of the IGAs between Wapella, Farmer City, and Clinton are identical and only address dogs running at large. He shares why the IGAs were created in the first place.
Well, I guess I got a couple of questions, because the intergovernmental agreement we have with Wapella and Clinton and Farmer City, they're all identical. And the only thing that they address are dogs running at large. And just by way of background for newer members of the board, back in 2016, my assistant, who was prosecuting dog running at large cases, saw that we're only bringing in on a state charge, the fine is $25. And for the amount of work we were doing, he came up with the idea, hey, let's get intergovernmental agreements with municipalities and we can recoup more money that way. And in case you don't know, so when the county board appoints a animal control administrator, her duties through state law apply countywide. They don't stop at the city limits of any municipality. So for statutes like dogs running at large, she can pursue those anywhere in the county. The question is, what are the fines on those basically? So if you write a state ticket It's $25. It goes in the pet population fund. In addition to state law, if there's dogs running at large in unincorporated areas, the county can also pass ordinances, which we've done. In the county, for dogs running at large, the minimum fine is $50 and it goes up to $500. And that's basically based on, if it's a repeat offender. And then the animal control administrator can also enforce municipal ordinances if we have an intergovernmental agreement. So that was the whole purpose of getting these intergovernmental agreements together.
Markwell adds that ordinances do not do any good if they are not being enforced with citations. He requested to be provided with the number of calls that animal control responded to compared to the number of tickets written.
I haven't seen any statistics from our animal control facility, but I would like to know, how many dogs we have seized from municipalities, over the past couple of years, because we've clearly ran a deficit the past couple of years out there. And then of that, how many citations have been written? Because the procedure should be, if there's a violation for dog running at large, animal control administrator or one of her employees would write like a traffic citation. And on the citation, it'd give them a time to have it paid by. If they don't pay it, then that would be referred to my office to file an ordinance violation in court to try to prosecute it that way. So I've checked this week, and I don't show basically since December of 2022 that I've had referrals to my office for prosecution in court. And I checked with the city, and they had 2 dogs running at large citations that Mr. Harris sent over, but he didn't write those himself. He asked the city to write those, so we didn't get the money from those. So I want to make sure that the citations are being written, because the ordinances don't do us any good if they're not being enforced. So I'd say before we throw out the ordinances, let's make sure that we're doing what we can to enforce them. I guess that would be the question.
Myers adds that much of the language is outdated, and that could be altered when the IGAs are renegotiated. Ultimately, the board voted unanimously in favor of giving notice to the municipalities that the current IGAs are ending and they would like to renegotiate. It's easy to forget that policing is not just about catching bad guys, it's also about supporting your local community. Piatt County Sheriff Mark Vogelzang explains that his office assisted in escorting 35 runners from Monticello all the way to Peoria to support St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital.
St. Jude's Run is held every year to help raise some funds for the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Great cause. Every year they reach out to us. They've got a run where people, roughly about 35 runners, I think this year, ran from Monticello all the way to Peoria. So they took off on Friday night, roughly about 4 or 5 o'clock ish, and then ran through the night all the way to Peoria. And obviously when you're running on those roads, there's a lot of traffic. So we provide a little bit of an escort for them to make sure nobody comes up onto the group and has a crash. So every year, we always look forward to supporting that organization, that group, that fundraising event, and help raise some money for a good cause.
The sheriff indicates that the event does not require a lot of manpower, but he has great deputies who are willing to work overnight to support the cause.
It just entails one deputy that follows them all the way there. This year, we broke it up into 3 different segments. In years past, we've usually had about 2 deputies that would rotate about halfway through, and then the second deputy takes them into Peoria. But each year, organizations, departments across the state will escort the runners all the way to Peoria. ISP, each of the local agencies will take their groups into Peoria. So it's a great event. If you're around next year and anywhere near Peoria, I'd recommend you stop by and watch it. It's a lot of fun.
Vogelzang feels that the community outreach from their department is an essential piece of their relationship with the public. He notes that it's important not to be disconnected.
Again, I go back to great staff. Our deputies, we have done an awful lot of foot patrols this summer, getting out, interacting with the community. Our 4th of July event, again, we're out there, we're talking to the people. We recently had a deputy assigned to the Mansfield homecoming event. That was a week ago. So, just getting out and having that interaction, talking to the citizens, that's what it boils down to, just having that interaction, that communication. You don't want to be disconnected. There's always issues that, even within our small county, the villages tend to be smaller villages, but each village has, different issues, and attending some of those meetings, getting out, doing some foot patrol and talking to people, finding out what's going on and how we can address those and keep people safe.
Labor Day is coming up quickly, and we'll have more with Sheriff Vogelzang on staying safe this weekend on Regional Radio. Now for your local obituaries. August 7th, 2025, Nancy Irene Douglas Stone passed away peacefully at the age of 82. There is no service planned at this time. In lieu of flowers, memorials may be made to Westward Heights Care Center, 150 Caring Way in Lander, Wyoming, zip code 82520, or to the Waynesville United Methodist Church, 202 South Isham Street, Waynesville, Illinois, 61778. Get news anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
When it comes to finding primary care, you can be seen at any doctor's office, but at Memorial Care, you're not just seen, you're heard. Our primary care team takes the time to listen to you, building a lasting relationship based on transparency and trust. So when you notice a change in your health, you've got a team that's ready